Finding plan is not easy, isn't it? But that's why I made this video. I made this video to help you finding games in the middle game. In this video, in fact, I'm going to analyze a middle game that I played recently. I played with 92% of accuracy and my opponent with 90%. And I won this game after a long battle. But that's how you learn middle games. You watch a game of someone which is younger than you and you try to understand what is going on. Now, it's even easier because I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking during the game. That's why it's important that you stay focused. So let's start with the video. So we are in the middle game. French opening, Wings Gambit variation. The Wings Gambit is really tricky. Yes, it's good that I'm up a pawn, but as you see, I'm really behind in development. I also lack in space, so it's not an easy position to play. But when I play such a position, first of all, I try to understand if my king is safe or not. And now I think my king is safe, so I don't have to castle as soon as possible. Because he can't play something like knight on g5, I'm just going to take it. And if he sack the bishop, I'm just going to develop the knight. Even if he play h4, h5, I could also decide not to castle, or maybe if I castle though, I can castle in the future where I have less problem. So now I don't want to castle. And what else I see? In this position, in order to find the plan, I always tell you, you need some information. How do you get this information? You get the information from your and from your opponent position. So if you want to make a plan, you have to understand what your opponent wants to do. Right now, honestly, you just want to launch all my pieces into my position, but it's not only that. He could make some pressure with the rook on the queen side. The most important thing for me now is to defend on the queen side, because as you see, he's going to open up, and if I can defend the queen side though, I'm going to be up a pawn. These pawns are under attack in the future, as you see, because these are weak, these are not covered by my opponent pawns. So what I have to do is focus on this side. So I got this information. For my plan, I have to focus on the queen side. Alright, but what can I do on the queen side? Well, if you look, you see that the pawn on c3 is a bit weak. Why is weak? Well, a pawn is weak when it's not defended by another pawn, and this pawn is not defended by other pawns. Also, this pawn is attacked by my dark square bishop, and if I move the knight, I actually have the two attackers on this pawn. So my plan could be to attack this pawn in order to make pressure. Remember, when you are under attack or you lack space, the most important thing to do is to make pressure. Because if you don't make pressure and you let your opponent do whatever he wants, you're going to get destroyed. You're going to get blown out of the board. So what I'm going to do is make pressure on this pawn. That's how I made the plan. I have to make pressure on this pawn. So my opponent could actually put some forces on the queen side, in order that my king side is safer and I can castle. So I play knight on a7, which is a good move. I mean, the game I played pretty much good moves. It's a good move because I'm attacking this pawn, so my opponent has to do something about that. My opponent played queen on b3, which is a good move, nothing wrong with it. Now, what can I do? This pawn is defended, right? Yeah, it's defended, and I can't really attack it one more time. Yeah, I could play queen on c7, but after he blocks with the rook, I don't have too much. My bishop is still defended, and if I try to put the knight on b5, though, it's going to be captured. So what can I do? I see that there is a lot of pressure. You see 1, 2, 3 pieces. 3 pieces are controlling the square. I need to do something about that, because it's going to push also this pawn on c4, controlling a lot of white squares. I want to control white squares because these are pretty much the square that I can control. If I lose the space battle on the light squares, I'm going to lose because I literally have zero space and it's going to destroy me because I can't move. So my next move is pretty logical. In order to block these, I have to play b5. b5 blocks the pawn on c4. Despite the fact that it is not the best move, In fact, the computer is suggesting to play bishop on c6, but I was scared about this push. So I thought about playing b5. Yeah, b5 does not lose, but the computer is suggesting some rerouting move that could cause some problem to me. But looks really logical, and I decided to play it. So I play b5, he can't play c4, and in fact he plays knight on c2. It's a really good move, he wants to reroute the knight and destroy me in the future. And what can I do now? Well, I know that he wants to reroute the knight, and obviously he wants to put the knight on b4 because it's a really good square. Why? Because my opponent is doing what I do. I intend to see if I have some weaknesses to attack. He's going to put pressure because he has more space. So with knight on b4, he's going to put pressure on the a6 pawn because he is weak. Why is weak? Because he's not defended by another pawn. What I'm going to do now? And that's why this move wasn't the best, because I'm weakening this pawn, but I can still play. And I think it's better to show you the move I play instead of the computer moves, because no one is going to play perfectly and you need to build a plan even after you play a non-perfect move, so it makes a lot of sense to me. So I play knight on c6. Not saying that prevent the knight on b4, but at least is controlling the square, the knight is better placed, and after that I could play rook on a8 defending this pawn because now the knight is not blocking the pawn. So he plays still knight on b4. I mean, that's a good move. Why? Because if I take with the knight, it's going to take with the pawn. Attacking the bishop, I have to move the bishop and he takes the pawn. For this reason though, I could have played rook a8, which is the best move. But the reason I played this was actually to take the knight with the bishop now. So he take with the bishop, and after that I can play queen on b6. So I had the knight in a good position that is going to put pressure. I played queen on b6. Why? Well, if we go back, he took with the pawn. This is under attack. And when I'm under attack, I should defend, but if I can put pressure, I really should. So queen on b6 put pressure on this pawn. My knight could be good. I mean, yeah, it's kinda good. He's putting pressure on this pawn. Maybe in the future I want to play a5. In order to release some pressure, maybe. And we see. So, pressure on this pawn, he kinda need to defend it. So, bishop pawn e3, defending the pawn. What can I do now? Well, now, as you can see, I can't really move too much. I have some candidate move though. I can try to push this pawn, but looks kinda dangerous right now. I can try to develop the last piece I have to develop, and I mean, that's pretty much all the moves. I decided to develop the knight, which is logical, and as you see now, previously he had more pressure there because he had a queen on d1, but now that the queen is on the queen side, I could also castle because I know that there is less pressure, so I have a scrabble, let's put it this way. And my opponent played bishop on c2. Bishop on c2 is not a great move, but it's a really tricky one. It's a really tricky move, and yeah, this pawn is hanging, which I missed during the game. There is this tactic. It's not so easy to see during the game though. Bishop c2 is tricky because if I castle now, he's going to attack me with queen on d3. Now, it's not even the best move, but I felt like I was under a lot of pressure, which is true. I mean, the computer thing is not the best move, but a human can't defend as a computer. This is a really scary move. You are not going to castle. So for this reason, I decided not to castle. So I built a plan considering what my opponent wanted to do. So that my opponent wanted to play this, so obviously I'm not going to castle. If you can't see the plan of your opponent, your plan is going to be incomplete. It's like a puzzle, and if you don't see your opponent plan, you're doing this puzzle without a piece. You need all the pieces to make this plan work. So I'm changing it because I see that it actually does not work. So I need to do something different, right? I need to play something though, because I mean, it's chess, I need to play a move. I see that I'm under a lot of pressure, so this time I actually decided to play a5. a5 has a point. I'm trying to release some pressure because after retake I'm going to take with the knight, attacking the queen, and I'm going to put the knight on a great square. Now this pawn could be weak, but if I can defend it and just up a pawn with not too many problems. So that's a really logical move actually. That's a really good move. So he take, because if he does not take, I'm actually going to push on a4, and this is a problem for him. This pawn is strong, this is a strong outpost for me. I can redraw the knight somehow in order to put him there. So he has to take, and obviously I take with the knight, attacking the queen. Now, the move I played, as you see, was really good. Now I'm putting pressure. He has to waste time moving the queen, and if he wastes some times, I have more time for me in order to defend my position. And my position is not that bad at all. I'm slightly better because I'm up a pawn. I'm down in development, I should castle and down in space, but now I have a passed pawn. So it was a good decision, obviously. And now, what can I play? I could play knight on c4. Knight on c4 is good. I don't see anything wrong with it. He's going to attack the bishop, you know, he's putting pressure. I can't castle again because this time I also get mated. So that's the best move, right? It's not the best move. I played the best move this time. It's not the best move because if you see a good move, remember, always look if there is something better. And there is something better now. If I start pushing this pawn, he's going to be in trouble. I'm the one who is attacking now. I'm the one who is posing some problems. If I can pose some problem, he's not going to attack me. I'm going to put pressure. I'm going to be good. I'm up a pawn, remember. The best move is before, and I played it. Best move is before. Why? First of all, this knight can still go on c4. But now I'm threatening rook on c3. Rook on c3 could pose big problems. Also I'm threatening b3. So my position is going to be much better. I played before because I had not too much space. So I saw that in my position I needed to gain some space. For this reason I played before. Against space, I attack can't be a bad move. In fact, it's the best move. This is how you find good moves. You understand what you need in your position. My position needs space and development. If you see, these two pieces are really, really bad, and I still have to castle, so I still have a lot of problems. It's not that I'm winning, obviously. So my opponent played rook on b1, rook on b1, putting pressure on this pawn and stopping the push on b3. What can I do now? Knight on c6 makes sense, but I'm aggressive. I'm not the guy that in this position is going to play knight on c6, you know, slowly. I could play knight on c6, but after knight on c6, I felt like this pawn was kinda weak and I couldn't push it. I felt like I could have done something better. For this reason, I played bishop on b5, sorry. Best move, again, best move. Why is the best move? My bishop sucked. My bishop was really, really bad. I saw the worst problem in my position, and my worst problem was the bishop. The bishop was really bad. I was basically playing without a piece. Now, this bishop is going to be good. I'm going to control another time the square on c4, so this is a great outpost for me. Now, my opponent could have taken this pawn, and I would have been slightly better because he had more weaknesses than me, but it wouldn't been so easy. I mean, it wouldn't be a draw probably. So if you take this pawn, I take, I take. He's going to take my knight, and after that I castle, and this is weak. But this is probably a draw. Instead of that though, my opponent moved the queen on d1. Now, what can I do? After this move, I saw even before playing this move, at least saw some move in the future. You can't make a plan based on one move. I saw that this pawn is hanging, so I had to do something about that. So obviously this time I played bishop on c4, best move, but it wasn't an hard move to find. Bishop on c4 basically allow me to defend the pawn. If you take this knight, I mean, it does not make any sense. I still have a pawn. I want to push this pawn and be much better. Now he played quite a good move. He played knight on d2. Knight on d2 prevents me from pushing again. So this was a really annoying move. Now, I could castle now, because you see he has all the pieces in the queen side. So I can castle and have no problem. I could develop the knight, for example, is not a bad move. You know, I'm aggressive. I feel like this pawn needs to be defended though. So for this reason, in order to defend the pawn and to put my piece in better squares, I decided to play knight on c6. This is a good move. I'm just making this knight better, defending this pawn. And if you take my bishop, I'm going to take with the knight. Why? I'm going to take with the knight because if I take with the pawn, it can push and it's GG, I lose a piece. So I take with the knight and I'm okay if you play something like that. So in this position, my opponent played knight on b3. Knight on b3, which threatens to go on c5, and if you can put the knight on c5, I feel like it's a really annoying knight. For this reason, I decided to take it. It's not bad, it's not a bad move, and you take with the bishop. Now, this time I didn't play the best move. I will stop the video with the next move, which is the computer move. I'm going to show you the move that I played, which is this. And after this move, we went in this endgame where I won this game after a lot of grind, but as you see is 0.0 is pretty much equal. What I could have done, and I'm going to show you the computer move, which for a simple reason, because it's a simple move, it's a human move, it's nothing special, it's just a thing I missed. I want to defend this pawn, and I miscalculated. I felt I didn't even consider taking the bishop, because after that it's going to take with the rook, double the rooks, put in the queen. But what I'm missing is the fact that is the knight which is defending this pawn, which means that if you want to capture this pawn, he has to take with the rook, but I'm going to take with the knight, so he's going to lose the exchange, so I have no problems. The best move is to capture the bishop on b3. He's going to take with the queen or with the rook, but after that, this pawn is not hanging, I'm up a pawn. So yeah, I should have played that, no problems. Now knight a5, gaining times. Remember, if you can gain in times, putting a piece in a better square, it's always a good move to play. So at this point, it needs to move the rook. You can put the knight on c4, maybe, I don't know. But I mean, looks like a really good position. Computer is suggesting queen b5, but as you see, it's a good position. You castle, you put the rook, you have up a pawn. So guys, this is how you find plans. I hope this was useful and helpful for you. And see you in the next video.